Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Crimes, Killers, Cults,
and Beer.
And beer.
Yep.
We're just two crazy Florida men drinking beer, talking about true crime. And why not?
Yes, why not?
Still trying to find a way to change that up a little bit, and not really having much success. But anyway, that's Todd.
And that's Bill.
And we have a guest with us tonight, my buddy Farnsworth. You might remember him from the Survivor episode that, a couple months ago. He was my guest on that, and he's going to sit in with us on this one. What's up, Farnsworth?
Hey guys, thanks for having me again. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, brother, welcome.
Yeah. Welcome. Tonight we're covering Chris Watts, and it was Farnsworth's idea. He's the one that suggested that we do this episode. So
it's an interesting one.
Well, I mean, it's an episode that's going to trigger people, so I want to make sure they get triggered at the right person.
I like the last one you guys did. It's really good too.
So it's as far as true crime stories go, it's a rough one, but it's not, but it's nowhere near the worst. It's not going to be our worst one. I don't think it's going to be a while before we get one that tops our worst one, which is Gertrude Banaswecki, the torture mom, Satan. Yeah, that one was bad.
That one was not fun.
I don't think I heard that one yet. I need to go back and listen to that one.
So what are you drinking, Todd?
I am drinking rum and Coke. Can't even talk. I haven't had that much to drink, so it's not that. Yeah, I got rum and Coke in my powder blue sippy cup.
The powder blue sippy cup. Awesome. What are you drinking, Farnsworth?
I have the powder blue sippy cup.
Me? I am drinking some Moscow Mule Huckleberry Stout.
Oh.
I don't know what that is. What is it?
Yeah, it's a vodka drink.
Moscow Mule is like
yeah,
it's just ginger beer, lime juice, and vodka.
Cool.
Yep. Are you drinking in a copper cup?
It's not in a copper cup, but it's in a mug.
Okay.
Close enough. But the reason that I don't know that is because I'm drinking Bud Light, and that's all I drink.
Oh,
but
I want to say something, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna let that go.
I knew you were gonna say something, but I was like, "Is anybody gonna say something about the Bud Light?"
I will. I'll do it. But it doesn't. Yeah, I don't care. Number one, I'm still a man. Number two, I'm still attracted to women. Number three, and number
as far
three,
as you know.
all these people that are bitching about it and boycotting it and everything, fucking keep it up, because the price on Bud Light is dropped. I paid $20 for a case of Bud Light today. $20.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
For a case.
Well, I guess you got it on sale.
Yeah,
for a
so
reason.
keep it up, people. Keep it up.
And the funny thing is, dude, I really don't even care. I heard somebody call it that, and it made me laugh, so it kind of stuck with me. It doesn't matter to me, dude. Beer is still the same beer. It doesn't matter.
Right. It's just these people virtue signaling.
It's just, I think it's a fad right now. It's just people are being weird about it.
Yeah, it's like you got people on the left, they're getting triggered over what people on the right are doing. You got people on the right, they're getting just as triggered, by what the people on the left are doing, except the people on the right are saying that the people on the left are doing it and they're not. Meanwhile, Bud Light has a transsexual, commercial or whatever, and everybody on the right loses their mind.
Yeah.
I say as long as everybody's drinking, we're
but like I said, just keep on protesting, keep on bitching. I'd love to pay $12 for a case of beer. And for a case of Bud Light, 20 today. I mean, just last week I bought a 12 pack of Bud Light, and it was $16. Today I just got a case For 20? Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Well,
please.
they got to get rid of it somehow. Right? Keep it up.
Anyway. Unless anybody has any further ado, do you?
I have no ado.
How about you, Farnsworth? You do have some ado. You got to tell us about your podcast.
Oh, yeah. So I have a new podcast, and it's called Life's Dumpster Fires.
Great name.
Oh, cool.
It's just going to basically talk about any kind of tragedy or anything I really want, basically. I've got a buddy coming on. He's worked on Survivor type shows. That's what he's been trying out for. He goes out in the middle of nowhere and tries to see how long he can live out there.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's the next one. We're going to talk about some cool stuff like that.
I've listened to your first couple episodes and I enjoyed them. You got something there.
Yeah, I'm still gonna stick around the narcissist, aspect and behaviors and stuff.
Right on.
But I'm gonna try to veer away from that a little bit too. Try to just get on a couple different things.
Yeah, you don't want to typecast yourself. But
yeah,
but the thing is it's always good to talk about narcissists. You know why? Especially in a public venue like a podcast or whatever, because if the person that you're talking about hears that, it's going to make them lose their freaking minds. And that's what they deserve.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I would say that most of your guys' true crime, most of them are sociopath, narcissists.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, NPD.
Yeah, definitely.
So. Most of your murderers.
Yep.
So.
Faux show.
Yeah. So anyway, let's start this dumpster fire. See what I did there?
Yeah, I see what you did there. That was good.
So Chris.
Thanks for the plug.
You. So Chris Watts. Early in the morning of August 13th, 2018 in Frederick, Colorado. You said that was near your place, right? Yeah, where you're from?
Yeah. I'm from Johnstown, and Frederick's right up the street.
Oh, wow. So were you living there when this went down?
No.
Okay.
It was 2 years after I left, but it's right there.
So, but anyway, Chris Watts, he was born May 16th, 1985. He was a 33-year-old oil field worker. He married his pregnant 34-year-old wife, Shannan, and their two daughters, 4-year-old Bella and 3-year-old Celeste. He strangled his wife and he smothered the girls, and he buried Shannan in a shallow grave on his work site, and then he stuffed the two little girls into huge oil tanks. All right, thanks a lot for listening. We'll see you next week.
No. Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
But no.
Pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that's a hell of a way to start out.
Yeah. But this case made worldwide news, and my sources are, of course, Wiki. There's an Amazon documentary that I use called Family Man, Family Murderer, and ID Murder Mystery. I used eonline.com. I used YouTube, and I also used 9news.com. So.
All right.
So Chris and Shannan were originally from North Carolina. Chris from Spring Lake, a town outside of Fayetteville, which is home of Fort Bragg and the 82nd Airborne Division. And I lived in Fayetteville for a couple years, and I've been to Spring Lake. And in Spring Lake, there's a bar there called Foo Bar.
Called what? Foo Bar?
There's a bar. Yeah, it's called Foo Bar.
Nice.
It's nice. Yeah, it's a really cool dive bar. You'd like it, Todd.
Sounds. I mean, dude, its name is Foo Bar. It already sounds like my kind of place.
Well, that's a cool name, but it's not as cool as that one in Merritt Island called Fugley's.
Yes, it's not around anymore, but yes, Fugley's was the place.
So Shannan was from Aberdeen in neighboring Moore County. And they met and they fell in love in 2010, and they were married in Charlotte, North Carolina in 2012. What had happened was Chris had randomly sent Shannan a Facebook friend request, which she accepted because they had a couple mutual friends. Now, Shannan was recently divorced, and she was trying to put her life back together. And she had initially just thought that he was good looking, but, didn't really, wasn't really expecting to meet up with him ever or whatever. Just like, okay, I'll just flirt with this guy, whatever. But, once she accepted Chris's friend request, he began chatting her up. She wound up liking him, developing feelings, and they went on a date that included a trip to Myrtle Beach, which is about 2 hours away from Fayetteville. So, Shannan had lupus, and it flared up while they were out in Myrtle Beach, so they cut the trip short, and the whole way back, Chris was kind and empathetic, and, just trying to make her as comfortable as he could and everything. She even let, he's driving, she let him he let her lay his head, he let her lay her head in his lap, and he's like stroking his hair as her hair. What the?
Let me guess. She put her head in his lap as he stroked her hair gently.
What he said.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that was the sentence he was groping for there.
Except he wasn't groping her. He was being a perfect gentleman.
Yeah.
First date went real well.
You know what I meant. You were groping to get that sentence.
Right. Anyway, he was being the perfect gentleman and everything, but after the after he dropped her off and everything, I mean that was it. I mean, she was his. And in the early oh God, it's going to be one of those nights. In the early goings of their courtships, Shannan gave Chris multiple ways out of it. If he wanted. I mean, she kept, cause she had like lupus, she had other health issues as well. So, I mean, and not to mention she's, freshly divorced, she's damaged and sick. Which we'll get to. But despite all of that, so she's just basically trying to push him away because, figuring if he wants her, he'll stay. And that's exactly what he did. He stuck around. He wanted to be with her, and she fell head over heels in love with him. So, the couple hosted a backyard barbecue where the parents of both Shannan and Chris were invited. Shannan's parents were thrilled to see her so happy, and they liked Chris. Chris's parents, not so much. And his mother, Cindy, was talking shit about Shannan the whole time. See, Chris was a really good looking guy. And, but for some reason he was just really shy, and he'd never really dated before. He'd never really had, he would go out on a date here and there and everything, and nothing would happen because he's just so shy and everything. Well, something happened with the two of them. I mean, they like really clicked. So, so there you go. But
right.
But Chris was also a total mama's boy.
I see. Yeah.
And Mama didn't like the idea of someone taking her baby boy away.
Jeez.
And the relationship between Shannan and Chris's parents never improved. In fact, it got worse. And Chris never defended Shannan to his mother, or other than telling her that, oh, Shannan's my family now. And, so it's like, okay, you get maybe one style point for that by saying that Shannan was his family now. You get one style point for that. But nothing else. Because all of the insults hurled by Cindy, it was like, oh, she didn't mean it, honey. Yeah, stand up.
Well, Mom doesn't seem like a great winner. I'll say that much.
Yeah, right.
Oh, and you're really going to hate him hate her and and his dad at the end of this episode.
Oh boy, here we go.
Think Luca Magnotta's mom.
Oh jeez.
but they were a perfect match, and they had a beautiful wedding, and like I said, in Charlotte, and everyone was there, but Chris's parents. Chris's parents didn't even show up at the fucking wedding.
Really?
Wow.
Damn.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's rough,
That's
man.
cold, dude.
She really
Shit.
did not like.
yeah.
So, mom and dad did not approve of the girl. The sociopath probably runs in the family when it comes to the mom. Seems more like she wanted control, and Chris's girlfriend at the time obviously wanted control too, and so they probably butted heads because of that same reason.
Yeah, that seems. Yeah, I agree with that totally.
Yeah, and also when it's just like when Cindy and Ronnie got together initially, Cindy was probably very domineering, which Shanann is too, which we're going to find out. Where she likes to control the relationship and everything, call all the shots, and Ronnie went along with it. So then, a pecking order ensued, and then obviously when Chris was born, he was raised that way. Yeah,
Right.
Okay.
Kind of like Adam Sandler movie, the football movie. Bobby Boucher and his mama.
Oh,
Bobby Boucher.
Yeah,
Waterboy. Yeah.
Yeah, that took me a minute, but yeah, that's
Mom's controlling.
That's what I mean. Usually when there's a son that's like a total mama's boy, and the father and the mother are still together and everything, usually the father is basically a wife's boy.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
But 8 years later, Shanann and Chris had 2 kids, and they were living in a very nice place in Colorado, and she thought that she had found the storybook Mr. Right. And part of the reasoning for moving to Colorado was that she thought that it hopes that the climate there would ease the symptoms of Shannan's lupus, which she was diagnosed with at age 26. See, they had vacationed there early on, and the thin mountain air seemed to help her, keep her lupus under control a little bit better.
Yeah, because it's a autoimmune disease. So maybe she had more allergy type symptoms at the last place she was at. So I could see how that can.
Well, yeah, and the weather in North Carolina is very similar. Well, on the eastern side of North Carolina, which is where Fayetteville is, it's very similar to Florida. It's like
I don't think I've ever been over in that area.
Yeah, it's hot, it's humid. Are you there, Todd?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, but
yeah, I'm here.
But it's hot, it's humid, and everything. Basically, everybody that lives in this part of the country, they're vaping and they don't even realize it during the summer.
From the humidity.
Because of the high humidity and all that stuff. The only difference between North Carolina's weather and Florida's is North Carolina, the hot doesn't last as long as it does in Florida. But it's every bit as hot there, and in some cases even hotter in North Carolina and South Carolina for that matter. But anyway, she also actually fell in love with the area, and what's not to love? That area is gorgeous. I mean, but that's why they moved there eventually. But Shanann had expensive taste, and she was constantly buying up things on credit cards and racking up quite a bill. and she was the one in charge of the finances. And they were both working at a Ford dealership, and they weren't making enough money to keep up. And Chris never even saw his paychecks. He just handed them over to Shannan, and this is what led Chris to getting the job at the oil field, because it's more money.
More money.
More money. And to make matters worse, Shannan became a salesperson for a direct marketing company called Lavelle. It was a MLM, a multi-level marketing company. And I bring this up because it factors into the story in a couple different ways. One, I'll get to now, but the other, just put a knife in it. I'll get back to it.
Put a knife. There's that put a knife in it again.
Yep. But multi-level marketing companies have always insisted that you have a huge following. And in the age of social media, the way to do that is basically to make yourself appear cheerful and happy on every post that you make on social media. The goal is...
Gotcha, yeah. Okay, I see where you're going.
The goal is to make everyone think that you're successful, happy, and have a blessed existence, to make potential new recruits want to be you and have a life like yours. So you're selling the illusion of bliss to lure new people in, when in reality things aren't always what they seem. And this is a cult tactic, and multi-level marketing companies are viewed by some people as cults. Personally, I don't see them to be cults, but I definitely see the similarity in recruitment tactics, and especially the fact that it takes so much money, time, and effort to be even remotely successful at it. But it consumes your life if you want to be successful at it, to the point that the company and is this great business opportunity, and it literally becomes your entire existence. It's kind of like that joke where, how can you tell if you're talking to an airline pilot?
How can you tell you're talking to an airline pilot?
They'll tell you.
I don't know how. They'll tell you.
They'll tell you.
That's fucked up.
And it's true, because I've been in conversations with airline pilots before, and it's like, you could be talking about fishing. And he's like, yeah, I like to go fishing out, like whenever I can. I got this lake that I like to go to. I'm an airline pilot, and my lake, the lake that I go to, I mean, we get good bass there and everything, and I'm an airline pilot.
Is that how they work? Man, I've never actually talked to them.
I've talked to two, and they were both like that. They always had to work in the fact that they're an airline pilot.
That's strange. I don't think I've ever heard that.
But the thing about it with the multi-level marketing is, it's just like you have one. I'm sure you've been friends with somebody, at least on Facebook, and every single one of their posts is, I love my life. It's so great because I'm selling Amway or whatever, and blah blah blah.
Sure, sure.
It's literally all there. I mean, and I couldn't, and I'm not knocking Shannan or anything like that, but I'm sorry, those people were just like, their whole reason for interacting with you is to get you to come on with them and be part of their, part of their pyramid,
Yeah. There was a lot of companies like that, that my ex got involved with at that time too, in that area. And, yeah. So I totally understand that. That's kind of like what a lot of the moms do. They do a lot of that, like, Beachbody or Amway or Shackley, all those things. They do that up in that area. That's just kind of what they do. Yeah, it's kind of a normal thing for them to do that.
Yeah, but you have to put so much money into that to buy all the product and all that stuff, and
yeah.
But this is what was going on with Shannan. She posted her entire life on Facebook, posting about how happy she was, how much she loved Chris, the kids, and her life, and as well as all of her success thanks to Lavelle. And she was very high up in the company as far as her performance, but what she was spending on the product was too much, and she was practically breaking even. maybe a little bit more, but still. So she was making the company money. She just wasn't making herself money. So they were basically relying on Chris's money exclusively, and they wound up, just getting in so deep, and they had to file for bankruptcy. On the surface, and as far as Shannan was concerned, everything was fine, but she dominated the relationship, and Chris just kind of sat back and took it, like we were talking about earlier. She even included Chris on her promotion videos on Facebook, using their happy life as being credited to Lavelle's products, and she was a very good salesperson. But those multi-level marketing companies are only set up to make the top brass rich. That's it. And that's why they have all these, spirit seminars and stuff like that to keep you hooked in and all that. So yeah, you'll get there. And they have to have that because
I guarantee this was LuLaRoe or something like that. I guarantee it was some kind of weird.
Well, it's called Lavelle, and what she was focusing on, she sold handbags at one point, and then she switched to like vitamin supplements and stuff like that.
See?
There it is.
I know it.
Yeah. So, now, I'm not putting any blame on Shannan at all. I'm just telling the facts. Multi-level marketing, they are what they are, and there's an entire episode in that at some point. Just on multi-level marketing. And it'll have the cult outro to it too. But now I'm not putting, blame on Shannan at all. I'm just telling the facts, and I already said that. Can financial problems be stressful in relationships? Absolutely. And did this contribute in Chris's mind to what happened? I think so, but he handled it the wrong way. I mean, they could have gotten counseling both from a therapist and from a financial advisor. And
yeah, right.
Did Chris suggest any of that? No.
Huh.
Yeah, he was a coward. He's a spoiled brat whose parents, Cindy and Ronnie, they never told him no in his entire life. But regardless, Shannan was still a loving wife and a great mother. But the financial aspect kept getting worse. They kept putting out even more money. Shannan went to school for nursing, and they even put their oldest daughter in private school. So Shannan, was.
This is all after they did bankruptcy already?
Well, this is prior to the bankruptcy. I'm just, I'm bouncing around.
It's okay. No, it's all good. I'm just trying to follow you.
I was trying to put.
Well, I can see why they claim bankruptcy after all that. I mean, holy cow.
Yeah, there's I heard on a podcast that I listened to that Chris had a truck that he sold, but he sold it for less than what he owed on it.
Oh shoot! So
basically,
well, then he still owes on it.
Yeah, so he still owes on it, and.
I don't know. We've all probably been there at some point in time where a car broke down and we're still paying on a car that we don't even drive. Ever had that moment?
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, but if you're trying to get out from underneath your car loan, you don't sell it for less than what you owe.
So, when did after this whole thing with the bankruptcy, is that when things started to go south?
Yeah, that's when it started going south, honestly. But I say I'm not blaming Shannan for anything or whatever, but at the same time, hot take. I mean, she was the one that was in charge of the financial aspect of it and everything, and she was the one that was spending money on like everything, like expensive stuff to fill their house in and all that stuff. And I don't know how they managed to keep their house in the bankruptcy, but because it wasn't paid for, they had a mortgage. But
Yeah, they're lucky to even walk away with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
But Shannan had neck surgery, and now we're getting toward when things really.
Oh, wait a minute. She had back surgery or neck surgery? Oh, neck.
Yeah. And this is where shit starts to go really off the rails. They brought a friend of Shannan's, a girl named Christina Meacham, over to stay with them to help out. Brought her in from North Carolina. And Christina noticed that they were living beyond their means, but she still thought that they had a great marriage. And like I said, Shannan had lupus, which is a serious autoimmune disease, and among other things, it can make every joint in your body ache. It can also cause dramatic weight changes, and at the time of her murder, she was 15 weeks pregnant. Combine that with lupus, and she was in really bad shape. Yeah, but just prior to her murder, she had gone to Arizona for a Lavelle convention, and with a friend and fellow Lavelle employee who said that during the trip, Shannan was tired and sluggish, and this was out of character for her because she was usually full of energy, bubbly, and cheerful. The pregnancy, the lupus, and the stress she was under because of her worthless husband was getting to her. And we're gonna and like I said, this trip is the very end. Like I said, I'm bouncing around here.
That's okay. Keep going.
Yeah.
But she was pregnant, but Chris hadn't been, he wasn't thrilled about having a third child. And it's painfully obvious in a video that Shannan had posted to Facebook, and in the video she's wearing a shirt that said, "Oops, we did it again."
Oh,
and
Jesus.
I mean, she put her entire life on Facebook. And she surprised him with the news on camera. Everything was on camera. And I say oblivious because Chris had a mistress, a coworker named Nicole Kessinger. And he would see her, and he would use the classic "I'm working late" line to go and see her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he had her convinced that, yes, he was married, but was in the process of being separated and filing for divorce. And there is a tell-all interview with Nicole on YouTube, which we will link to in the notes. And, and she had absolutely no clue that she was being played.
Mm.
And,
really?
And to be honest with you,
I don't believe that because I feel like that someone with that much social media, you know what I mean, would be definitely taking on some of that status and would have some kind of idea, wouldn't you say, because of that?
Well, people that broadcast their entire fucking lives on social media, that's narcissist.
For sure. For
Right.
sure. I mean, that's what narcissism does 101. They have to have the center of light, the main focus on everything that's going on. That's kind of that's kind of how it works,
But I think that and I don't really cover this on in my notes, but on other podcasts that I've listened to, they go into detail about like the conversations that Nicole. If you want to hear the conversation, everything that Nicole says in that tell-all interview that's on YouTube that we're going to link to, she's basically confirming everything that you're saying. That's what he was telling her, and I believe 100% that
definitely would have had to say something.
Chris, at this point, is being genuine.
I don't know about that.
He's trying to be genuine with Nicole.
He's trying to cover for.
He
some
does
stuff.
want away, but he is, and he's other than the fact that there were no plans for being divorced, they were not being separated or anything like that. So that right there is that was a lie, but I mean if you want to go through and watch that video, I mean all of the stuff she breaks down and like everything that he told her, and we're gonna get to that because I just remembered I do bring it up a little bit.
Okay.
So
All right, so we'll put a knife in it.
Putting a knife in.
you put a knife in it. That's my line. That is my line, Todd.
I know, but I beat
Looks
you
like
to
Todd's got it.
Yeah, you stole my knife. Give me back my knife.
I would say that when it comes to guys, definitely when it comes to the guys, you know, was he separated?
They were separated.
Okay, so basically, most guys will tell that story up to a certain point. You know what I'm saying? Like, they usually will give up that information up to...
Right, and you know what? That's probably why he did it.
Right.
To be honest with you.
Probably.
You know, and you know, I've been separated from my ex-wife, my daughter's mother, my 13-year-old daughter's mother for like 6 years now. And we've lived separately and all that stuff. We just haven't gotten divorced yet. And you know, like logistics, you know, distance and stuff like that is why. But we are definitely not together. And I've talked to some, you know, I've talked to some women, and they're like, I'm not gonna date a man that's legally married. I'm like, it's been 6 years.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's a long enough time, you know what I mean?
You know, if you can be common law married after 5 years, can't you be common law divorced after 5?
I think it's sooner than that. Jeez.
But anyway, that's going to get taken care of before too long. Like tax return next year that's when it's.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, that's when I'm going to get divorced.
Congratulations.
But yeah, but still, I'm common law divorced.
Right.
There's a T-shirt.
There's a T-shirt.
Common
Is there
law
a bumper sticker?
Common law divorced.
Bumper sticker for that one.
But anyway, common law
Right.
divorced. Oh God! And in the video, she states that. Oh, we're getting there now. In the video, she states that there's were several discussions that they had about his current relationship, where it had gone from, you know, he talked to his kids from time to time, but the thing was that he was never hostile, and it was. I'm reading a quote here. That's why it doesn't sound like how I would phrase a sentence.
Okay.
But
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe did they fight very often? I mean,
yeah, they. No, but
well,
they
basically they have to be fighting somewhat.
They never really fought.
Oh, okay.
No, they never really fought.
Seems kind of weird, don't you think, that they never fought about anything? I don't know. Seems kind of sociopathic on the mom's end things. I'm just saying.
I agree.
Yeah. I don't know. I just kind of see it that way, at least from my point of view.
No.
That's the best I can explain it.
But she wasn't the type of, like I said, they never fought.
They never fought. Because you would think...
They never fought. I mean, they...
You would think they would fight about something, and maybe it was just that he didn't want to deal with any,
right, he was
hostile stuff.
Afraid of the confrontation.
Right? None of the confrontation of it. So where does it leave him?
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. But still, I mean, she did, you know, she didn't have the breakdowns of narcissist rage where they just get pissed off because they didn't like the way their shadow looks and takes it out on you.
Yeah, happens a lot.
Yeah, she wasn't that. She wasn't that. I'll go with narcissistic tendencies.
Narcissistic tendencies, yeah. Kind of like the mom.
But she did not have. She wasn't like a full blown narcissist to where, you know, and.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's kind of a wide spectrum, you know, when it comes to the narcissists and
yeah,
you know, that whole spectrum of narcissism and sociopath and psychopath kind of becomes like a whole.
Yeah, we're gonna get hate mail.
That's okay. Just let it go. It'll be okay.
No, it's fine. But the thing is, if you want
it this way, Bill, I don't think that
right.
I don't think that we're going to get a lot of hate for this. I'm not defending him. I'm just seeing it in a different light. I'm just trying to say there's two sides to this whole thing. and kind of bring it out. I don't want to make it
Right.
so it's, one-sided, and I'm agreeing with the psychopath. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, it, and that's kind of one thing that we like to do on this podcast and everything. It's just we don't if you want to listen to the same exact story, there's 100 different podcasts out there that you can listen to with telling the exact same story, pretty much word for word, word for word and everything, just with different voices telling the story.
Right.
That's not us. That's not us.
No, you guys are great.
Yeah.
We're not Wondery. Oh, did I say that out loud?
I think you did.
You did.
Well, I think it'd be okay. And I'm just basically saying, Bill, that I think when it comes to her, I think that she had narcissistic tendencies, and I think that he's following into that routine where it's normal for him to get kind of pushed around, and then the reactive abuse after a certain amount of time will eventually break someone down. Well, kind of, Just,
put a knife in
I'll
that.
put a knife in it. I'll put a knife in it.
Because I disagree.
Okay. Yeah, because, he's a psychopath, but at the same time, something happens. Just saying that, when it comes to him, he's definitely, putting the schmooze on everyone and, getting what he wants, and somewhat she's
right.
Has the basics of being a very nice, sweet person, and comes off that way. But I don't know. I don't believe that all the way. You know what I'm saying, Bill? Because it's all just it's coming in too weird, I guess, when it comes to her.
Well, this wasn't.
But basically, she.
Well, this isn't the first time.
She basically wants to get all the attention from everything, and she might be a sweet person. She may not be a sweet person. She could be a sociopath. Could not be a sociopath. I don't know.
So you were coming into and I agree.
You know what I mean?
But you were coming into this with the whole thing about Shannan was a saint and all that stuff and blah blah blah, and just nothing happened and all that stuff. It's just like all of a sudden he just snapped one day and just killed her, and for
there's always
no reason.
more behind it than that.
And that's the spin that a lot of the media put on it and everything. And if you watch the videos, you can see she's so sweet, and she was a good.
Right. I'm gonna just say this: if she was, giving him false ideal of who.
But that wasn't this.
Well, okay. Well, basically, you don't want to coax somebody into what's going on to get this reactive abuse out of them.
Right.
I mean, maybe I'm looking at it completely different, and I need to look at it from she was sweet, but also.
Yeah, this isn't Michael.
I think that also that when it comes down to her, I think that he's a product of his own environment.
Okay,
because the product of his own environment, he's being conditioned to be this way.
Here's a scenario. Here's a comparison. Okay. Eileen Wuornos.
Environment of her own environment. She was just born into it.
Doomed from the fucking start. Now, granted, Eileen Wuornos is on a completely different level than
I need to listen to that one.
But really, when you think about it,
I really think that there's still a creation of their own environment.
Eileen Wuornos was basically screwed from the day that she was
absolutely
born. I mean, and when I say screwed, I mean every possible way that you can imagine.
Definitely not a Chris Watts
situation. She was sexually abused as a child. She was physically abused as a child,
abused,
and everything. I mean, and then
it's probably more than that. Probably more than that, right, Bill?
Yeah, and basically when she did what she did and all that stuff, when she went on her murder spree and everything, it was basically to
probably was family members, right?
There's a little bit of
family members, maybe.
No, not really, because the people that she killed had nothing to do with it. It's just like
random.
She got in a lot.
Random people.
The people that she killed were people that were picking her up because she was a prostitute.
Oh, gotcha.
But the reason I'm doing that is just like Eileen Wuornos is basically, that was a nurture case, pulling through. I mean, there was nothing. Yeah, it's just like this girl didn't stand a chance. And like I said, that's a much more drastic situation than what we're talking about here with Chris Watts. But still, Chris Watts grew up underneath that monster,
Yeah, the mother's reactive abuse towards him, and and all of those things,
But this isn't the first time that on this podcast where like somebody has come in with a preconceived notion, and by the end of the episode, that opinion has changed.
I'm sure my opinion will change.
Right, Todd?
Sure, my opinion will change.
Yes, very true.
Quick example. Go ahead.
What was it? Which one? Was it Killdozer where I changed my mind?
Yeah, it was Killdozer.
There was another one too where I did.
It was Killdozer, and there was another one. I can't remember which one it was, but it was Killdozer was the first one.
Yeah.
Just mind changed completely on that, I'm sure.
I didn't change my mind. Todd changed his.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, I changed my mind about Killdozer is because I had seen some stuff on like YouTube about him, and the video I watched kind of made him out to be like a folk hero, like the city he lived in or town, whatever, that was like screwing him over and all this shit, and he just had enough. But then when we got into the story, I'm like, well, that's not the story that I heard.
Right.
Because apparently he was a little bit more of a...
Just ended up being a dickhead more so, I'm sure, than what... At least that's what I heard. He was kind of a douchebag, and that's what... So...
I kind of went with, like... I mean, Bill was reading the facts, and the other guy was just... I don't know, maybe the guy that made that video on YouTube was like a fanboy or something,
Okay, well.
So I was just like, well, you got to go with the facts because, I mean, it's obvious that that's what happened.
Right. Well, he was definitely upset.
And then the guy that made it, was probably just like, maybe, I don't know, fanboying on him or whatever. It's YouTube, man. You can't believe any,
It's true.
half the shit you see on YouTube.
Right.
Right, but there is a group of people out there that does actually believe that Marv Heemeyer was was this guy that just was getting his rights trampled on, and he basically
that's what I first heard.
Vigilante rampage.
That's what I first heard about him.
That's not the case. Did he go on a vigilante rampage? Absolutely, he did. But it was
Indeed.
a result of his own doing.
Right.
He was a dick.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard about him. And so
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that, like, what I heard was that he's kind of being a dick, and
and
that was the main reason why he.
That's what happened.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah. So I mean, after hearing that kind of shit, I was just like, oh man, maybe that wasn't the
right.
thing.
Definitely I heard the other side that he was, the town was troubled with him and all this stuff, and then I heard the second story of him being kind of a douchebag, and that's what ended up happening, is that he just went on a rampage after that, and voila, that's kind of where he always ended up, was basically doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And this is a take that you're not going to hear on any other podcast. None that I've heard of anyway, and I've heard quite a few episodes on this.
Yeah,
I know.
I think basically when it comes down to Chris Watts, I think that Chris Watts definitely snapped because of some reactive abuse.
Right.
He's a product of his own environment.
I don't necessarily...
I mean, that's basically what was happening to him, but I mean, I'm just throwing out some things that could definitely be happening within that light because of what is going on with him. When did he snap? I'm sorry, I'm getting all technical with this stuff.
But, but when you have when you have a case like this and everything, it's easy to really just like put all the blame on the bad guy. But still,
Dr. Phil here. Sorry,
and deservingly.
Yeah, and I know. I mean, I would say that what point did he break? I know I need a therapist chair or something here. Sorry, guys. I don't mean to.
So this just turned into a mental health episode.
Sorry about that, man. Sorry. I would still say, though, that Chris, had...
Well, yeah, and
had to come from that.
I totally, I totally agree with that, and it's just like as I was going through the research and everything, because I ain't gonna lie, and that more often than not, I'd come into an episode with the, Killdozer. I mean, I wasn't like on the side that thought that Marv Heemeyer was just a crazy, was just a guy that got pushed too far. And I wasn't in that camp on that one, but in a lot of episodes that we've done, I have, after I've done the notes and everything, I've come out of it with a different opinion, and this is one of them, because I was in the camp of, it's just, this guy was just a fucking monster, because that was pretty much all I had heard about him.
Right.
I've never heard a podcast go into detail about, about the fact that, like you're talking about, he's a product of, his mother's domineering, his father being a pushover and everything, and that formed him. And then, there's that saying, it's like a young man always wants a woman that reminds him of mama.
Yeah, kind of. But it's more like they want,
right.
They want,
so he got,
no, but they want more someone that's gonna remind them of their mother or have characteristics of their mother. That's more what it's kind of stating towards, you know what I mean?
That's what I meant.
I know, whatever. It's all the same. But my bad.
I wasn't going all Sigmund Freud on you.
Yeah.
But
tell me.
But still, I mean, yeah, that's just it. I mean, he wound up. Now it was completely random in his case. He didn't, he just like, oh, this girl that my friend knows, she's gorgeous. You know what? I'm gonna take a chance.
Yeah.
Add friend.
All
you
right.
know.
Right.
But yeah. I mean, he didn't. I don't think that he really had any intention of this winding up with being married and 2 kids with another one on the way. Right. I don't think that he ever intended that when he.
I don't think so either. I think that he definitely wanted to be.
No.
Independent, and hopefully that he would get to just be with his mistress or whatever. Yeah. Honestly, at that point, I don't think that that's kind of how that went. I think that he was definitely not expecting that baby.
Right. So they're
just saying on that behalf, because without that, I mean,
right. But
I don't think that would be how it would end up. I mean, you tell me.
I had gone to. The last thing I said was, but the thing was that he was never hostile. It was never anything aggressive. It was still very kind. He was just like, this is not working. And, and I'm quoting her. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary or anything that would scare me. And then she says, even to this day, after everything that I found out, I still look back and at that, and I don't see any red lights the way that he spoke about his family. So basically, that goes back to what we were talking about, where it's just like he's just pouring his heart out to her. He's telling her how he legit feels.
Yeah, I know how that feels. I
think we're gonna get our first hate mail off of this episode. Honestly,
it's okay. It'll be all right. It'll be okay.
No.
That'll be all
fine. But Chris also began making it obvious that he was checking out of a relationship, out of the marriage.
Right.
There was a sonogram appointment that he missed because he was out with Nicole.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
So, meanwhile, Shanann and the kids went to North Carolina for a 6-week vacation, and Chris would stay behind to work. And I'm not going to put air quotes on that because, I mean, they're underwater in their finances, so somebody had to work.
Right.
And but the plan was for after 5 weeks he would join them in North Carolina for the last week of the vacation.
Gotcha.
And but he took full advantage of his alone time.
I'm sure he
and
did.
His relationship with Nicole became sexual and deeper, and now he had told Nicole that they were separating, but at one point she came over to his place for the first time.
Ooh.
And she couldn't help but notice that there were family pictures all over the place. It certainly didn't look like they were separating.
Right.
There were no boxes. There were no, everything looked, you walk in there, it looked just like it did on Facebook. A nice, happy family. Is what the house said.
Right.
But things aren't always as they seem. But,
Yeah.
but still, she got weirded out about that. But Chris,
So did she ignore the red flags, or did she
said,
read into them and question him about it?
She said there weren't anything. Yeah, there weren't any red flags. I mean, she felt weird. She felt out of place and everything. But Chris told her his side of the story about how miserable he was, and how it's just like, yeah, this is happening. This is in the works. So she kept dating him. It's like, okay.
All right.
But if anything, if that was true, and this is interesting, and I didn't have this in my notes. If that was true, which it wasn't, but if it was true, that just goes on to, like, okay, we're talking about separating and everything. This is, but all your pictures are still on the walls. She's still running that house, even if it were true. Even if it were true that they were actually in the process of getting separated or divorced, she still runs that house.
Yeah.
So, but things were about to get worse, though. But Shannan had the kids Shannan had the kids at his parents' house one time because, back in North Carolina.
At Chris's parents' house?
Chris's parents' house. She's taking the grandkids over there. Yeah, because, she was a good, despite her shortcomings that she had, she was a good mom. She was, family minded and all that stuff. She was just a little, out there on how she went about it. But a couple of her cousins or a couple of the kids' cousins were there too and everything. And Chris's mom, Cindy, brought out ice cream that had nuts in it. But the girls were allergic to nuts. And Shannan was too. And
did she know this?
Who, Cindy?
I think they probably knew that. They just didn't care.
Well, they might not have, I don't think they knew it initially, but they're about to find out.
Yeah, right?
Chris's mother, went, Shannan, it's like, look, you can't have this stuff around them or me for that matter. We're allergic.
Yeah.
But Chris's mother said that Shannan was just making a mountain out of a molehill and exaggerating, and she needed to chill out. So this, of course, escalated into a fight. Not a fist fight, but just, but which...
Yeah.
It led
she's concerned her kids probably have allergies, and she's got a super allergy, and she's probably mentioned this to them before, and they just totally didn't remember. Or they didn't want to remember.
I don't know. I think it was a thing where
to kill her too.
I don't know. I don't think they were trying to kill anybody. I think it was just a case of like, oh, here, have some peanut ice cream or whatever, like a walnut ice cream or whatever, and she's just like, no, we can't have this around, my kids or me, and then she was just like. Cindy was just like, freaking chill out, bitch. That's how I see it going down.
I totally think it went like this. I think that the mom heard it once, went in one ear, went out the other, and because the mom's a sociopath, she doesn't really care about the other people's feelings. So when Cindy ended up saying to her, like, look, we can't be around this.
Shannan.
She immediately took it as a defense mechanism to say, You're making this a bigger deal than it needs to be.
Right.
But the thing is usually when people say that, the situation usually
gets worse.
Is than it. It's usually bigger than what they think it is. And that's the truth.
Never tell a woman to calm down. Never tell a woman to calm down. Because if you tell a woman to calm down, she is not going to calm down. She's going to do everything but calm down.
Right. I think that goes for, I think anybody that ever has had that said to them, you know?
I don't know. I don't think
men react well to that either.
I don't know. I'm just speaking personally. If somebody says, dude, calm the fuck down. Chill, think about it. Come on. Yeah, I'm the type to where I'll usually just, I'll take a deep breath and think about it. I'll think about it for like a split second and decide if I'm gonna disarm or not.
Right?
Thank you. See what I mean? It's like most people don't like to be told that, you know?
Yeah.
So,
well,
it's just a normal human being thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I know I'm right about something, you ain't getting me to back down. Not gonna happen. Not gonna fucking happen in a
Fair
million
enough.
years. But
I'm sure she was like, look, they can't be around this. And then Mom was like, you need to just not make it a big deal.
Right.
I'm sorry that I did this, but it's not that big of a deal. We'll make it better. And then it just turned into a bigger thing than it really needed to be. And it could have been that she was pregnant and she was in a bad place with lupus and she's got these 2 kids and she's all by herself and she's dealing with the mother-in-law. I'm sure there was some things that led up to that.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just like people don't see the whole story and it's just like, it's so weird. It's like looking through a straw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but this escalated into a fight, which led to a Facebook battle between the two.
Oh, jeez.
Which resulted in Cindy blocking Shannan. So Shannan contacted Chris about it, asking him to do something, and he just blew it off. Don't want to confront Mama. And in July...
Well, he's like, shit, I gotta do, like, I'm enjoying myself too much over here right now.
Yeah.
I don't really want to deal with this. And, I'll be there in a week.
Nicole's probably got his dick in her mouth and...
God.
That's probably what it was. Oh my
Jesus.
God.
Yeah, it went there.
The phone went up to his face and then he just put it on silent and, moved on.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And he moved on.
Oh, boy.
Does that count as the first zinger?
All right, moving on.
Yeah, that was a good one.
What happened next?
Yeah.
So mom got blocked.
Right.
Did Chris show up?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
In July, Shanann's parents threw a birthday party for the younger daughter, Celeste, and Chris's parents didn't attend. So that's 2 things that they've not gone to and everything. The wedding and now the 3-year-old's birthday party. So
seems about right.
So Chris also at this point stopped texting with Shannan at much, and then at the same time he began taking collecting nude and erotic pictures of Nicole and storing them on a fake calculator app on his phone.
All right.
This app, I don't know the name of the app, and it's probably long gone, especially after this case. But this app was made specifically for this, and it was a functioning calculator, but it also had a secret file for naughty stuff.
Oh.
So it was.
All right.
So it's just like everybody's got a calculator on their phone. So it's just like
So you probably put a certain PIN number in, then you get all the naughty pictures.
No, I don't even think it was that. What I think it was like if you go into the app and everything, there's just something, it's like you go into the settings of the app or whatever, And that's where it is. That's what I think. Because on the surface, it just looks like it's a functioning calculator. So
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty ingenious when you think about it. But
wow.
It's fucking wrong. But I mean, it's still. I mean, AshleyMadison.com. Okay, what the hell was that?
No worries.
Ashley Madison.
Okay.
AshleyMadison.com. I mean, it's just like there's you know that old saying back in like the early 2000s, there's an app for that? Well, there's still an app for that. Anything that you want, there's an app for that.
Oh.
So, but still, there was one collection of photos with Nicole posing in a bikini, and there's a man in the mirror reflection, and I'm assuming it was Chris, but you can't really tell. But due to the poses, let's just say Nicole wasn't gonna be on any modeling reality show anytime soon. She did not know how to pose.
Oh.
I'm not even ragging on her. It's just some of the poses that she's in just look so freaking uncomfortable and unnatural.
Oh God. She did not know how to pose. Okay.
But and I'm pretty sure Chris just put her up to this because I mean, in a couple of the pictures, one where her body is like moved, like in places where that's not comfortable. Your back is not meant to bend that way. So
how about this? How about we just say Chris doesn't know how to coach?
There we go. Because
we'll go with that.
Nicole could have been a model. She was a pretty girl, but yeah, we'll go with that. Chris was not a photographer.
Fair enough.
So they began dating constantly and having sex constantly as well. And at one point, Chris went 2 full days without one word to Shannan, and she tore into him over that. And he said that he was sorry and that he'd see her soon. And finally, he flew to North Carolina for the remainder of the vacation, and everything seemed normal until.
Someone needed to use the calculator.
I wish.
Right? No,
I wish.
Am I wrong?
I wish that was the case. But Chris told Shannan that he did not want another baby.
Oh shit.
This of course devastated Shannan, and she at this point she's starting to pull the wool from her eyes, realizing that Chris may have been pulling away from her. So on August 7th of 2018, you can also find pictures of their time, during that week in North Carolina, because like I said, she put everything on social media. So they're there and everything looks normal, of course. But on August 7th of 2018, they returned to Colorado and they were still, not fighting, but still like not getting along either.
Uh-huh.
But she point blank asked him if he was having an affair, and he said no. But that exact same night they had.
Duh, he's not gonna admit to it.
Yeah, but that same night they had an ultrasound appointment that he missed because he was out with Nicole.
God,
he's getting his own ultrasound on.
That's twice now. So. Shannan wound up just texting Chris a picture of the ultrasound photo, which he ignored.
Yeah.
Because he was the ultrasound for.
Yeah. The next day, Chris deleted his Facebook page, and Shannan asked him why, and he didn't say anything. But his dad asked him why too. Called him up and asked him why he did it too, and he said, "I've finally liberated myself," and that was because he really didn't like. Posing, like being a prop in her advertising photos for her multi-level marketing stuff.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
They're
called Pinterest moms for a reason.
Yeah, that I can see. But
yeah.
The next day, Shannan had to travel to Arizona for a Lavelle training meeting. And so Chris hired a babysitter so that he could go out on a date with Nicole. He told Shannan that he was at a baseball game, a Colorado Rockies baseball game, but a $60 dinner charge came up on an alert on a credit card that they had jointly. So she asked him about it, and he told her that he had just gotten hungry after the game. You know, he was supposedly going to this game by himself. Can you go to a restaurant and, without drinks, get a $60 tab?
Depends on where they went to eat.
It was a sports bar.
A sports bar
by yourself, without drinks.
Matters.
Without drinks.
It really depends on in Denver. Yeah, you're going to spend $60, no problem.
Without drinks.
Without drinks, yeah. If it's a steak,
$60 for a steak.
I mean, you're not going to just have a steak. You're going to have a steak dinner. You know,
$60.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
$60.
Oh yeah. Steaks here in Montana are like $50.
$50.
Like $40 to $50 for a steak here. I mean, you get 2 sides and a drink.
I went to the Big Texan and got like a 18-ounce freaking ribeye. Best steak I've ever had in my freaking life. The one in Amarillo.
It's probably goat meat.
No, it's not freaking goat meat. It's Texas, man. It's fucking Texas.
I'm just messing with you, Bill. I don't know.
And
I mean, the prices are probably different everywhere you go, but in Colorado, it's pretty expensive. I'm not gonna lie.
Hashtag stay in the South?
Yeah, right?
Hashtag don't go to Colorado and buy a steak.
Yeah, right?
No shit.
I need to look into how much a
well,
good ribeye
either way,
costs.
he was laying some steaks somewhere else.
Yeah,
and
he was.
Not at a Rockies game.
But still. I mean, she asked him about it, and, you know, he said that he'd gotten hungry after the game. I already said that, but Shannan didn't buy it. And she began to realize that they were no more. So Shannan came back the following night and decided to confront him face to face about it. And that was the last time Shannan and the girls were seen alive.
Oh my gosh.
Oh shit.
And when,
she confronted him about it.
Yeah. Well,
and did he ever say what happened during the confrontation?
Yeah, we're going to get that at the end, and I'm not bouncing around his full confession.
Okay.
His full confession comes out at the end. So, I mean, yeah.
Came home, confronted him. Next thing you know,
they're gone.
Silence.
Yeah.
And what happens after that?
Well, let's go. When Shannan wasn't like online and stuff like that the next day, you know, for her Lavelle business and all that stuff, because I mean that you have to do that shit. You know, what one of her coworkers called the police and requested a wellness check because that wasn't like her.
Right.
All right.
So an officer went to the house and they found Shannan's car in the garage, but the house was silent. There was nobody there. And that's pretty unusual for a house of a mom with 2 small kids to be quiet during the daytime.
Oh, dude.
Oh, man.
Sad.
Yeah. Fuck.
I told you this was a rough one.
Yeah.
So Chris arrived at the house while the officer was still there. And the officer told Chris that his wife and kids were presumed to be missing. So what was the first thing that you two would do in that situation?
Oh, crap.
I mean, as a police officer?
Huh?
Or as Chris?
No, you. You show up at your house and somebody says your wife and children, there's a cop there and he says your wife and children are missing. What's the first thing you're going to do? if you didn't kill them, if you did not kill them.
Be like, I guess, I don't know. I would be like, what do you mean they're missing? What do you mean?
That's a good one.
I think I'd probably do that too.
Yeah.
It's like, where were they last?
Yeah. You start asking
where
questions.
Where are they at? Has anybody seen them? Has anybody talked to them?
You start asking
calling
questions.
Some friends.
Then you would go into the house, search the house with the officer. It's like maybe some clues were left behind.
Maybe.
No. Chris just started shooting the shit with the officer.
Oh, Jesus.
So when inside the house, Chris wasn't searching or anything, and he just kept.
Well, he must have said something to the officer like,
"No, at this point, hold on.
At this LuLaRoe,
we're getting there.
Convention thing or something with the kids or blah 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 blah.
We're getting there. I have a way I tell stories. We're getting there.
Okay,
right.
Go ahead.
No, I'm thorough. I don't leave anything out. Todd can attest to that.
Yes, very true.
Yeah, I'm going to take you on a ride to get there, though. But while inside the house, Chris wasn't searching or anything. He just kept looking at his phone and acting nervous. But the cop didn't think anything of it at the time. He didn't think anything of it.
Well, but, I mean, obviously he's around a cop, so he's going to be kind of on edge.
So cops are used to seeing people on edge around them. So but Chris's neighbor across the street came by, and by this time, I mean, the rumor mill and everything. Everybody in the neighborhood knew that Shannan and the girls were missing. So Chris, his neighbor across the street, he came over and he said that he had cameras that covered his front yard, which also covered the front of Chris's house.
Oh.
Damn.
So they went in, Chris, the neighbor, and the cop went in to view the footage. And Chris was seen leaving his house at 5:30 a.m. and nobody had left the house after that at any point. In fact, the next movement at Chris's place was the officer arriving. But they went back a little bit further, and prior to that, it showed that Chris had backed his truck into the garage about halfway.
Okay.
Wonder why you did that.
No idea.
Chris was just looking around at everything in the house except for the TV screen, and he was sweating. And Chris left, and the officer, he's just doing his thing and all that stuff. And then the neighbor comes up to him and is like, "The way he's acting, that's not like him. He's usually cool and calm. He was all over his place. He kept putting his hands on his head. He kept pacing around. He kept looking. That's not how that man. That's not typical to how he acts."
Right.
The cop agreed. He's just like, I don't know the guy, but yeah, that did kind of look weird. So the police started to interview Shannan's friends. And all of the Facebook pictures and videos started coming to light. And also text messages were shown, that it happened recently. It showed the conversations with Shannan and her friends about the deteriorating relationship towards the end.
All right.
So police began searching the house with cadaver dogs and looking for forensic evidence. And in the trash can there was a balled up bed sheet from the master bedroom.
Oh no.
So the media began getting involved and covering the case and publishing photos and asking for info. Like if you know anything. So one reporter interviewed Chris, and he tried his best to turn in an Oscar-winning performance. Instead, he turned in a Razzie-winning performance.
Of course.
He says, Shannan, Bella, Celeste, if you're out there, just come back. Like, if somebody has her, please just bring her back. I need to see everybody again. The house is not complete with anybody here. Why do I sound like Bill Clinton whenever I do some pathetic piece of shit like that?
I don't know.
I don't know, Bill.
It was working.
Yeah, but so he did this on.
This was on camera,
like live television.
Yeah,
or something?
you can see this interview. On I watched it.
Wow. Okay.
The reporter and the police thought that he was saying the right things, but his delivery struck everybody as cold and emotionless. And then he went on all the networks regurgitating the first interview. But then Nicole comes forward and she goes to the police. She details all of their she told all the details of their relationship. She had emails, photos, cards, etc. And this all verifies, Chris.
He had a motive.
Yeah,
motive.
He did have a motive. It's not rock solid evidence, but it does raise questions. So, Chris was brought in for a polygraph test, which he failed. Of course he did. But they asked about...
I'm guessing he didn't have a lawyer at this point.
Not yet. Still. Not yet. But, yeah, Chris, he's not the sharpest tool in the box. And your jaw's gonna hit the floor at his stupidity here shortly.
Uh-oh. Get the oven mitts out. Face palms are coming, I believe.
They are. So they asked about the video footage, saying that the only way that they could have left was in the truck, otherwise the camera would have recorded them. He said, quote, and I saw this in the video, I didn't just throw them in my truck. No, you killed them first, you piece of shit. But I mean,
boy.
the interrogators, they knew that he was full of shit. They knew that he was an idiot too. So they told him that the truck had GPS, because it was a company truck, and that his whereabouts could be tracked. And it was. The GPS information was downloaded. Chris had not gone into the office when he got to work that morning, which wasn't normal. He would always check into the office and then head out to whatever, oil well site was, that he was working on that day. According to GPS, he had gone from his house to a well site. So, investigators searched the oil field, and they found a bed sheet that matched the one that had been found at the house.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
A drone had taken photos, and when presented with them, he admitted to cheating on Shannan, which they already knew because Nicole had come forward. And in the interrogations, they brought up the fact that he hadn't shed one tear about his missing daughters. And in the video at that point, he starts sniffling.
Oh, Jesus.
So he says, crocodile tears, I'm hoping they're still around somewhere. I mean, God, this fucking guy. He was getting flustered, but he wasn't breaking. And the interrogators knew that he was full of shit, so they tried a different tactic. And Chris bought it hook, line, and sinker. They asked if Shannan, it was like, could Shannan have done something to the girls, and as a result, you did something to her? Light bulb goes off in Chris's head. And he says, if you let me talk to my father, I'll tell you what happened.
All right.
So his father had flown in, the day before, when this went down. I'm sure Cindy was there too, being the Karen that she is. But
Did he really said that? Like, if you let me talk to my dad, I'll tell you what happened.
Yeah, he did. It's in the video. I saw it.
God almighty.
So Ronnie is brought in and the interrogators leave. Now this just shows how stupid both Chris and his dad are, because you know that even though the interrogators left, those cameras are still rolling.
Yeah, right?
Hello.
So Chris says, I don't want to protect her. There go Bill Clinton again.
Right?
He says that he saw Shannan hurting the girls on a baby monitor, and that she had choked them out on the bed, and he freaked out and then did the same to her. Now, I'm just going to throw this in here right now.
All right.
That's not what the forensics said.
No.
The forensics said that the two girls were smothered and that Shannan was strangled.
Okay.
So Chris confessed to the interrogators, and they began pressing him on where the bodies were. And they showed him a picture of the from the drone of the well site, and he's like, okay, so where are they? Chris said that the kids were in the oil tanks, and they had buried Shannan in a shallow grave on the site. And then Chris was then arrested on suspicion of 3 counts of murder. The bodies are recovered and brought in quickly, but the hole in the tanks, the hole in the top of the tanks and everything were kind of small, and forensic evidence showed marks on the two girls' bodies, like bruising and cuts and stuff from being crammed into the tanks.
Oh damn!
It wasn't just like you open the tank and drop them in, like the Cecil Hotel girl in that water tank. I can't remember her name, but she just wound up in there.
I'm going to stop for just a second because my friend that I'm going to have on my show here pretty soon, he actually knew the main investigator, and he said that he hasn't been the same. He hasn't seen him since that investigation in public. He said that he can't go in public anymore and see kids because it just
tear him
after
apart.
Opening that tanker up, it just freaked him out.
I mean, a lot of my research on this one, a lot of my research on this one came from videos and everything. So I'm sitting there inundated with the pictures of these two girls and of Shannan and everything, and it's just it got.
Are you telling me they showed pictures of that?
No, just pictures of them when they were still alive and everything. No, there weren't any. There weren't any.
Freaked me out there for a second.
Yeah, there weren't any pictures of that. No, thank God.
God, I hope not. Jesus, that's fucking sick.
Yeah, no, there wasn't anything like that. It's just pictures of them, and they're both gorgeous little girls, just cute as could be, and definitely got their mom's looks.
The thing is this, it's like, what happened at that point to make him snap? What was going through his head?
Well, I'm saving that to the end because the full confession didn't, he was convicted just based on overwhelming evidence. But he didn't confess until after he was in prison, so that's why I'm saving what actually happened to the end of the episode.
Gotcha. Okay. I'll let you go, Bill.
But yeah, there's a way. There's a method to my madness. At that point, the story went nationwide. Candlelight vigils were happening in Frederick and in other cities around. And Chris was charged. Now, this is weird. Chris was charged with 5 counts of first-degree murder. I'm not sure where the 5th count comes from, but it's the two little girls, Shannan and the unborn baby. That's 4.
Damn.
But twins are, and I've listened to other podcasts and everything, and they're like, he was charged with, a lot of them, they say, he was charged with 5 counts of first-degree murder. Not one that I've heard has said, where did the 5th one come from? Or where the 5th
I'm just going to say this. If it's 5 counts, it's 5 counts. This is fucked up.
I mean, I don't care. I don't care. I mean, 5 counts
like,
versus
whoa.
4 counts, 5 counts. It's like, oh, it was just 4. Let's let him, let him walk. No, it's not like that. 4 counts, 5 counts. Doesn't make any difference. But still, I just thought that was really, like weird.
Right.
He was also charged with unlawful termination of a pregnancy and 3 counts of tampering with a deceased body.
Tampering with a oh my God.
What does that mean?
Moving a dead body.
Because he put the
moving a dead body. Just if you move a dead body, you've tampered with a deceased body.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Chris swore up and down that he didn't kill the girls and that he had killed Shannan because she had killed them. And a public defender, now this is another head scratcher. The public defender asked for DNA swabs of Bella and Celeste's necks and the thought process was that maybe DNA from Shannan would be found on their neck proving Chris's story. But one thing that's not there in the information is what Chris thought about that line, because he knew damn well that there wasn't going to be any of Shanann's DNA.
All right.
So, but still, they had been in oil for over 24 hours. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a DNA expert or anything like that, but you would think that, the crude oil might contaminate any usable DNA. Especially if it's just, I mean, maybe not like things like, blood or semen or anything like that, but like, a hand on the throat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if they hadn't been submerged in crude oil, then yeah, I could see that.
Well, what if they took the swab from the mom to see if she had DNA of theirs?
But that's not what they asked for. They asked for swabs from the children's necks.
Oh.
But the thing is the children were smothered.
Uh-huh.
But the request was denied though. But I just thought that was weird. It's just like
that is weird. What the heck is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strange.
Everybody involved, whether it's the defense attorneys or whatever, knew that it's like, okay, forensic evidence showed that the 2 girls were smothered, not strangled. So
yeah, this is
posturing. They're just posturing.
Yeah.
That's what I think. And then a week or so later, Chris's attorney then offered a plea deal. Guilty plea if the death penalty was taken off the table.
Okay.
So basically this chucklehead is he's like trying to convince everybody that his wife killed the kids, lying and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, if we can get rid of the death penalty, I'll take a plea deal.
I'll take a plea guilty. What?
So it's like he's full of shit. On November 6th, Chris pleads guilty to all 9 of the charges, and they should have charged him for slandering Shannan as well and accusing her of murder and perjury.
I mean, that would have just been one extra thing. I mean, what would have that added?
Right. And considering he was sentenced to 3 life sentences plus 86 years, yeah.
Wow.
All right, get ready.
I don't understand that. Why don't they just say life in prison? That doesn't make any sense.
Actually, it does. Actually, it
Hold on a
does.
second.
Todd asked me that one time before, and I'll explain it.
Okay.
The reason they'll do like 3 life sentences is because of the fact that appeals and everything. It's just like, okay, well, what, like in a multi-murder case or whatever, you could appeal and everything and have, like, if you're just sentenced to life, like let's say let's say you're a serial killer and you're sentenced to life or to the death penalty or whatever, but all of a sudden you get acquitted for whatever reason of one of the murders and everything. Yeah, if you get cleared of one, you've still got 2 more. They do that to keep you in jail, to keep you in prison.
Oh man.
So it makes sense. That's why they do it. They do it. They do it so that in case, like, one thing, in order for him to be released, he would have to literally be cleared of every single life sentence.
Wow, that's
so
crazy. I got you now.
That's why they do it. And and it makes perfect sense too. I mean
I don't know. Have you guys seen the judicial system anytime recently? It's pretty horrible.
Well,
yeah.
I could see how they could come up with loopholes for all sorts of fun stuff.
But the thing is, in a situation like Chris Watts, or even like any of the other serial killers and that we cover here, I mean, it's just like a lot of them get like multiple life sentences, and that's why. But these are slam dunk cases. They did it. They're just making sure that these fuckers don't walk.
Right.
So 4 months later, buckle up. God, I haven't said buckle up in a while.
No, you haven't.
So 4 months later, Chris agreed to talk, and this was, what I'm about to read is transcribed by 9news.com, and I'm going to read it verbatim. Watts, and it's lengthy, and I'm going to grab a beer because my beer is... So, Watts provided more details about what he says motivated the crime, saying that he snapped during a fight with Shannan following her return from a business trip very early in the morning hours of August 13th. He told investigators that Shannan wanted to cancel the couple's upcoming trips, and that he wanted to separate. When she pried him about his months-long affair with a coworker, Watts said that he was worried about she was going to take the kids away from him. It was a totally different type of fight, Watts said. I think it was more anger from me and more like desperation from her, because she wanted to fix it. She knew something was right. Watts said that he woke up that morning and felt like it was going to happen. They had sex and then tried to talk, but she tried to take the kids away, and he strangled Shannan to death and didn't remember any sign of a struggle. Watts then said that it was a traumatic type thing when he realized that his wife was dead. I was shaking. I didn't know what happened, Watts said. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what I'd done. I wasn't in control of what I could think. Some people ask, well, why didn't I just call 911? You don't know what you would do in that sort of a situation. Watts said the next thing that happened was his daughter Bella was walking inside. He thought that she had heard a commotion, and he told her, Mommy doesn't feel good.
Oh.
Next, he wrapped his wife's body in a sheet, carried her down to his truck where he put her on the floorboard. Watts then said that he put his daughters into the truck. One of them had her favorite blanket, the other had a stuffed dog. During the 45-minute drive to the Weld County oil field where Watts had disposed of his family's bodies, he told investigators that he considered taking his own life too, but since he didn't have a gun, he was worried doing it another way would injure more people. Like, what was he trying to do? It's like I didn't want to blow something up on the site and to catch fire and blow up. Oh, so you don't care killing your wife and 2 daughters, but you're worried that you might catch something on fire at a freaking oil site that's like miles away from anything.
Yeah, right.
Fuck off. Fuck off, dude. Seriously, just fuck right off.
Yeah.
So, Watts said that his two daughters were sitting in the back of the truck when he buried their mother in a shallow grave. And he said that he first smothered Celeste with her blanket while her sister was sitting beside her. Watts said that he put Celeste in an oil tank and then returned to the truck where he killed his other daughter. Prosecutors have said that there's evidence that Bella fought back against the man that she once called her hero after Watts had killed Bella. He said that he put her in a separate oil tank. And he told the investigators separating his family's, separating the family's bodies was not intentional. Oh, like that matters.
God.
Oh, good guy. You didn't put them all
I'm
together.
just saying, like, what in the heck, man?
I mean, okay, he crammed it. Obviously, he didn't put his Shanann into one of those tanks because because she was too big. I mean, if he had to cram his little daughters into it, fucking asshole, man. I hate this guy.
God damn. Yeah. No shit.
Jeez.
But the day after his wife and daughters were reported missing by a family friend, Watts spoke to local media and pleaded for their safe return. He said after their deaths, he had a difficult time about processing what had happened or even admitting it to himself. Oh, poor baby, you piece of shit.
Yeah,
Fuck
right?
you.
Wow, dude, that's insane.
Ugh.
Wow.
Like,
That's
it's
amazing.
It's like
That's
okay,
absolutely
like we were talking
mind-blowing.
about earlier. Leading up to this, you can kind of feel bad for him leading up to this, but just because you have a bad I had a bad childhood. I didn't become a serial killer.
No.
I didn't become a mass murderer.
I think it got to that point where when he started to strangle her, he just saw red and he finished it. And then he had no clue what he was going to do because he knew. And that's people. What is it? Isn't there a saying about desperation or something like that? Something about
desperate
people do
living,
and
driving me mad,
something-
writings on the wall. Todd got that.
Yeah.
No, it's like people do things. People do the craziest things in desperation or something like that.
Right.
And I think that's where there was that line in the sand and he crossed it and he had no clue once he crossed it.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, I mean, I don't see, but then again,
And I don't think, honestly, he knew he was going to get caught with that, dude. I mean, honestly, like, he knew. Just sucks. Freaking whole thing is horrible.
He said that he didn't know right away how much international media attention his case had received, but that he's received both hate mail and kind letters in prison from across the country. Prison tender.
Prison tender.
Prison tender.
That's a term that we came up with on this show.
Jeez, dude, that's horrible.
But but with every high profile case like this, there's people that Richard Ramirez, Ted Bundy,
I want to
Jeffrey
what
Dahmer.
What happened to Nicole?
Huh?
Is Nicole doing okay?
Yeah, she's married.
Because man, I would feel.
She's married.
I feel the whole world on my shoulders if I had that on my shoulders, man.
She didn't do anything wrong. I mean, she really didn't. I mean, in my research on all of this, I mean, I came across a video on YouTube. It said Nicole Kessinger is guilty. I didn't even watch it. I'm not going to watch it because she's not. She didn't do anything wrong.
I'm going to put it this way, like, if I had that on my shoulders, I would feel, I don't know if I'd sleep right every night, you know? Like, if I felt like I influenced somebody to kill their wife, like, I would feel like I influenced them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would feel like I influenced that person. Because, but it wasn't her fault. I'm not saying it's her fault. I'm just saying, like, I feel for her, man. That's like, what happened to her? You know?
Well, she, I mean, I didn't really go into her post story or anything. You know, she did do like that 3-hour thing. I didn't watch all of it, but
she's like a cat lady in like New Jersey now.
No, she's not. She's doing well. She's married.
Well, that's good. I'm glad she's doing
married,
well.
has a family.
Man, that's horrible.
Yeah. But during his time in the Weld County Jail, he says he's constantly harassed by other inmates who told him how he could take his own life inside of his cell and how they would kill him if they gave him a chance.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Watts said that he prayed to be sent to another state. And less than a month after his sentencing, he was moved to
probably a maximum security of some sort.
This is funny. This is. Well, okay, never mind. It's not funny. I copy pasted this. I copy pasted this. I didn't read it. I just wanted to be done with the notes and everything. And I found the whole, script of what of his confession. And I just copy pasted it. And I was just reading it. And but the next thing it says, less than a month after his sentencing, he was moved to an undisclosed location in Wisconsin, where he spoke with investigators.
Wow.
So, an undisclosed
conclusion,
location.
Bill, I'm going to have to say my conclusion
hold on.
to this.
An undisclosed location in Wisconsin. So that narrows it down.
Well, there you go.
But when he spoke to or we're wrapping up, and then you can do your
go ahead, Bill.
Thing. But right now, I would have a 5-year-old, or a 3-year-old and a 1-month-old son and a beautiful wife, and now it's just me. Poor baby. Poor baby. In some of the podcasts that I listened to, they quoted. Yeah, they said that he and I didn't find this. He said that that when he was, after he had killed the first daughter, the other one said, is what happened to her going to happen to me?
Oh, dude.
Oh, my.
And I didn't
Stop
see
it.
And I believe that. And you know what? I hope he hears that every night as he goes to sleep. I hope he hears that. But so Chris Watts will die in jail one way or another, and so far no inmates have gotten him yet. And Chris's parents, Cindy and Ronnie, they still swear that Shannan killed the kids just like Chris said.
Dude, we know that's not true. Come on.
You know, like I said, just like Luca Magnotta's mom.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just purposely being, just refusing to believe that my baby could do anything like that, and all that stuff, and that's it. That's all I got.
Wow.
Wow.
So you had some closing thoughts there, Barnsworth?
Yeah. Conclusion is, he's sick, man. That's sad. God dang. But I want to just say that, like, definitely was a product of his environment. I'm just going to keep saying that, but man, that changed my view on that turn for sure.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, my
gosh. Like I said, I told you early on that I was bouncing around. There's a reason why I was doing it. Because I like to tell a story. I
am not cracking any more jokes during horrible stories.
Oh, that's what we do, dude. That's how we get through it sometimes.
Well,
Man.
yeah. I mean,
Holy
what
smokes.
what of our catchphrases? One of our catchphrases that we don't use anymore. It was just like you gotta have a beer to get through the depravity that these assholes unleashed on society or something like that.
Yeah.
That was one of our. That was one of our early catchphrases, but
well, I mean, wow. I mean, really, like, you know, I don't feel like the sympathy should be there for him. I think the empathy for at least the kids.
The kid.
The mom.
Well,
I want to say that he's not. I don't think he's saying like these things, and you're going, "Oh, poor me, poor you,
No.
Chris." I want to say like I'm feeling like he's saying that on behalf of them, like he
it's like
wishes he had that
like,
still.
It's
And
like
I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is painful to watch.
It's like
hear this, you know.
It's like the origin stories of people like Henry Lee Lucas, people like Eileen Wuornos or whatever. You feel bad for the child who went through that, but you don't give them any credit. And there's an element in this. That's why I set it up this way. That's the whole reason why I set it up this way.
Could you warn me next time, Bill? My God.
No, that takes the fun out of it.
Oh my, Todd,
Hey.
you didn't even warn me.
I know. I'm sorry.
Gee. I'm just, you know, you hear the story at the beginning and you think it's one thing, and then there's that line in the sand that they cross, and it's just like, wow.
Yep.
You know? And it changes your view on where your empathy lies on the situation, because it's human life, you know?
Yeah.
I think you delivered that really well, because I wasn't prepared for that. So I just want to conclude that that's a tragedy what happened there. That is just the saddest thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, he's going to have to just live with that like that whole thing. Oh my gosh, every day.
Yeah.
You know? So
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he kills himself in prison or if he gets taken out before he dies in prison of natural causes. Maybe not. I don't know. But I mean, it's just what a freaking waste. I mean, damn, it's just this is one of those situations. It's not the exact same thing. It's one of those situations where it's like if it's just like you get these psycho assholes and everything. If I can't have you, nobody can have you.
Yeah,
and
you've done those stories before too, so
I'm sure. Yeah, but it's just freaking leave her. Get a divorce. Don't kill her. Don't kill your kids.
I mean, shit. He could have gotten to that argument, jumped in his car, and drove away.
Mm-hmm.
And those people would be alive.
Yep.
That's all he had to do. It's like, God dang, dude.
I don't think
here's another thing, just like
I don't think this was a situation where, well, shit, if I leave, I'm going to have to pay child support. I don't think that factored into this at all.
No, I don't think that was even a part of it. I just think that, I think that he could have handled that situation differently, and it would have completely been different for him.
Mm-hmm.
But because he crossed that line,
I mean, take my situation for example. I'm a father. I have two daughters, and one's an adult, the other one is not. But I never thought that I would wind up with sole custody of a 13-year-old girl. But here I am. And you know what? I mean, I had to go through several years of paying child support and all that stuff before that happened. it's just, you never know what can happen. I mean, but you know what? The thought of, let's just kill my ex-wife and kill my daughter. That never once entered into my mind.
Come on, I mean, god dang, that's deep, bro. That's deep.
But still, I've had full custody of my daughter for for little over a year now. I got custody of her shortly after we started this podcast, and this is episode 60.
I adore my kids so much. I mean, and treasure the time I have with them, that it just mind blew me just right now. I'm just my mind is like I couldn't even imagine. Imagine that.
I know, and but the thing is people up north, people outside of the South are more likely, a father's more likely to get the kids than a father in the South. Just more conservative and stuff like that. I have custody of my daughter and I live in Florida. So, I mean, it just doesn't, it's just for any, seriously, for any, and I'm just going to say this, I'm just going to put this out there, if you're a single, if you're a father in a broken relationship and you're considering going after your kids, do it. If you have the reason for it, I mean, my situation where it didn't go to court, her mother agreed to it. And the reason that her mother agreed to it was because she knew that if it did go to court, she would lose. And I'm not going to go into, I've said this on episodes
I
before.
totally understand. I get it, man. I get it, And I think that you guys made a good decision on your guys' behalf, and that's awesome. So, and it looks like everything's working out just fine.
Don't lose hope. And
dude, I'm doing the best I can with what I've got, and I'm gonna spend every dime I have till I can get what I need to be able to see my kids. The more.
Well, I'm talking to the listeners. It's like, and I mean,
can cut that out of there. You don't have to put that in.
No, I'm not going to cut that. I'm not going to cut this. This is important. I'm talking to the listeners. And it's just like, if you're a father and and you're going through a situation where you think that custody of your kid would be in your best interest, but you don't have it, feel free to reach out to me at billzillaprod@gmail.com or CKC_beer on Twitter. And on Facebook, I don't know what it actually is, but if you search Crimes, Cults, and Beer on Facebook, you'll find it. If you want to reach out, if you want somebody to talk to, I'm fucking here because I've been there and I've done that. I have custody of my 13-year-old daughter. So, and I live in Florida. That's rare in Florida.
It's rare in Florida.
It's just, so it's like if you want to talk seriously, reach out. I mean, this case, and this is why I put that disclaimer at the very beginning. I was just like, Farnsworth wanted to do this one.
Jeez, man, I regret it now. Oh my gosh, why? Why did I picked it because I knew it was close to home, and I was like, oh man, this would be a good one to do. Bad decision.
Well,
but at the same time, I'm glad that we did it. But I'm just
it's definitely one that we would have gotten to. It's definitely one that we would have gotten to at some point. But whatever. It's just like, I asked you to fill in, and
I need a stronger drink now, Bill. My God, man.
But I
think it's like this. I think people. There's good people that get pushed to bad places, and I also feel that there's that line in the sand that those people get pushed across, that they push themselves there, and
I think he was a little. I think Chris Watts was a little bit of both.
Yeah, I think he was. think that he was a character of his own environment, and 2, I think that once it flipped that switch, he did not know how to turn it off.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
I'm with you there. I agree.
That's the gist of what I feel about it. Just because, jeez, man, holy cow. Wow. Well, Bill, it's been a pleasure, man. Thanks for having me on again, and Todd too. I mean, I appreciate you guys letting me jump on board this. Thought it was awesome.
I know it was fun. I mean, it kind of typically happens when we have a third person on board, where Todd just kind of just sits in the background. But
Todd did great. I mean, I asked him some really good questions about some stuff too that I didn't know about. So.
No, we all love Todd. I mean, everybody loves Todd. In fact, there's a Todd fan club among females out there. We've gotten a couple emails
guy.
about how Todd is like dreamy and all that stuff. So I mean,
all right, Todd, got your fan club, bud. Look at that.
Yeah, Todd's got the fan, but I'm the single one.
Jeez, what's going on? What's going on with Bill? Where's Bill's fan club?
Yeah, Bill needs a fan club, but Bill has one, but we won't talk about that. But anyway, we're gonna wrap it up. Follow us on social media, CKC_. The links are in the damn thing. Thanks a hell of a lot for listening, and your podcast again, Farnsworth.
It's Life's Dumpster Fires, and it's with Farnsworth. You can look it up. It's on most platforms. I'm also on TikTok too. You can look up Farnsworth with the PH for Farnsworth.
Okay.
And so it's PHARNSWORTH.
Yeah.
Farnsworth.
But check out his podcast. I mean, it's brand new. Just started doing it.
Brand new.
And I listened to the first 2 episodes. I enjoyed them. And thanks for listening. And until next week, later.
Awesome.
Cheers, everybody.